So one of the most important things that I've ever learned in business, whether it was buying from pawn shops like I do now, or thrift stores, or when it was back in the day buying off of Craigslist and Kijiji, which is probably a website a lot of you don't know, but all those local marketplaces, is networking and making relationships, building relationships. When I used to solely source off of Craigslist and local customers, I could bring in a 1 or 2 or 3 customers a day who would sell me a piece of merchandise at a good price, and I'd be able to buy it and resell it and make some money. But what I learned after several months and even a year of doing that was every person that I met, I would give a business card to, and I'd tell them, hey, if you come across anything else, not just this video game or, you know, X item, if you get any of these other items that are on my business card, give me a call. And it took a little while. It took a month, it took 2 months, it took 3 months. But eventually I started getting customers who would call back and say, hey, it's Joe, hey, it's Billy, hey, it's Mike, hey, it's Cindy, and I sold you so-and-so about 2 or 3 months ago. Do you remember me? And I may or may not have remembered them, but I would almost always remember the item, more than I remembered the person. But I would start building, and once they came back and sold me another item, they were locked in forever. Once a customer becomes a return customer for me, they're locked in my memory bank forever. I'll never forget them. And at the time, I was meeting, you know, 3 or 4 people a day, 100 people a month, which wasn't a ton, but it was a good amount of people to try to remember. And after about 3 or 4 months, I started meeting 5 or 6 people, 7 people. And it was no coincidence that most of the people I was meeting started to be every other person, somebody that I had already met and that I had reasonably done business with pretty regularly, or at least pretty recently. And every time I would meet with them, I would give them another card, or I would update them on something new that I was buying or that I was looking for. And I would constantly talk to them and build these networks. And they would always call me first. Even if they could call somebody else and maybe get an extra $5 or $10 or $15 for their item, they would call me first because they knew that how easy it was. They remembered how easy it was that I was able to meet with them the same day, give them their $30 or $40 for their item, and move on. It also made things a lot safer because I wasn't meeting as many people that were new customers that I didn't know. I was meeting a lot of customers that were repeat customers that I already had experience with, that I knew were safe, that I knew were good, and you know, that it was just very quick and easy and convenient to take care of. I was also keeping customers that were, you know, in the same area as me, because I made it a point to try to meet everybody either right in my town or right within 5 or 10 minutes. If anybody lived farther, I insisted that they would come to me, otherwise I couldn't do the deal. And if I had customers that were willing to come to me from a farther out town, then I knew the next time they would probably be willing to come to me as well, especially if they needed the money. The other thing with building a customer base like that is people that are wanting to sell merchandise quickly and sell it on places like Craigslist and marketplaces locally. If they're going to sell more merchandise in the future, there's a pretty good chance they're going to need to sell it quickly in the future as well, because they're probably not in that good of a financial situation. So those are good customers to build as well. Don't think that I'm taking advantage of them in any way. They could definitely call you know, anybody else, or they could call eBay or put it on eBay, put it on Amazon, wherever it was that they could put merchandise for sale, but they needed to sell it the same day. And when you need to sell something quickly, as we all know, you have to be willing to accept less money for it. So again, another way to build a good local customer base. You could also build a customer base the same way of networking, not locally, by dealing with people out of the state who are willing to ship to you. And then the next time they get good merchandise, maybe they'll be willing to hit you up on an email or call you or text you or Facebook message you and say, hey, I got another bunch of stuff in. I can box it up and ship it to you. What do you want to pay? So my point is, build networks, build relationships, even if the customer isn't your favorite person to deal with, because there are some customers that just aren't that fun to deal with, or they're kind of annoying, or they're just, you know, badgering you, or they're, you know, I've dealt with every range of customer, but every customer is a good customer. If you do business with a customer, they're not a bad customer. I really get upset when I hear people say, oh, I had a bad customer today, but they spent $40. How are they a bad customer if they spent money? Make sure that you network. Make sure that you remember these customers. Give them cards. Give them your information. Give them a list of what you buy. Don't just let them think that you're buying video games. Tell them that you buy iPods. Tell them that you buy electronics. Tell them that you buy clothing. You never know what somebody's going to call you up one day and want to do business on. So business 101 for me, one of the most important rules, and I put it right at the top, is always build a network, always build a list of customers, and always keep in touch with those customers. Always give those customers a way to reach out to you, and you'll be surprised at how quickly your repeat customers come back to you and your customer base builds. Thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate you checking this out. And as always, please give me a big thumbs up if you like this video, if you like my other videos, and feel free to check out my other videos. You can find them all over my channel, and you can find me on social media down below. Have a great day, guys.